Now, Bristol is so interesting. The old town, which is where we're going to be exploring today, amongst other things, is really, whoops, fall down the curb, is really quite awesome. I mean, just look. So nice. So Bristol town centre really. It goes up quite a way. It's a busy area, even sort of 8-9 o'clock in the morning. My first impressions of Bristol is I absolutely love it. I don't think I've ever been here before, although I do remember Bristol, the Clifton Suspension Bridge that they've got here, which we'll go and see at some point. But I must have been a kid. This is a really cool area as well. It's called Watershed, but it's kind of full of bars and little restaurants down here, right on the harbour front. I mean, look at this. How cool. How cool. So beautiful. I'm in search of a cup of coffee, so it'd be interesting to see what's open this morning. There's Adam C from Hidden Jackpots.
Hello.
Hello, he says. Let's go and check out down here.
Let's look upstairs.
Huh?
Movies.
I'm not home until 12. Oh, pizza. I like pizza. I like pizza a lot.
It's not seafood.
Huh?
It's not seafood.
Yeah, a bit early. Stephen the Seagull. Just waiting for us to... Oops. Just waiting to steal our food, I reckon. What do you reckon, Mr. Seagull? Are you going to steal our food? Are you? He says, I'm busted, I'm out of here. Off he goes.
Camera shy.
Yeah. Cool statue on the harbour front. Look at him. Wow. That is awesome. Oh, Cabot. John Cabot sailed from this harbour in the Matthew and discovered North America. This statue was created by Stephen Joyce. It's an awesome statue, I have to say. I really like that. Cool artwork. There's so much to see. I've already said it. There's so much to see in Bristol. I love it. Absolutely love it. Fireman doing some water rescue training by the looks of it. Got a little remote control pulley thing there. It's pretty cool. Hey guys, so I'm in Bristol, as you probably know. I've probably said that about 1,000 times, and we are gonna going to do a little walking tour of the old town and check out some cool buildings and some cool street art. So we're now just heading up to the cathedral where we're meeting the tour guide, and I will take you with me as we walk along. There is Adam C. That's a pretty cool statue. Let's go and you see the cathedral just yonder. Let's go and check it out, shall we? Can hire a scooter if you want. Lots of pigeons there. Oh, and a duck. Pigeons and a duck. Quack, quack. So we're in the area that's called College Green, and I think that's the college, the building just in the background there. And this is Bristol Cathedral. It's beautiful. Oh, it's windy.
My name's Luke. What's your names? Austin? Hello. Arthur. Hello, Arthur. Everyone else, you can shout your name after 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Nice to meet you guys. So you might be from Canada?
Could be.
Could be? Nice. Is anyone from further away than Canada? That'll do it. Anyone from further than Australia? Or from Australia? So welcome to Bristol, I think everybody. Welcome to the tour. Our tour officially is called Blackbeard to Banksy, the ultimate walking tour of Bristol. I did not give that tour this name. I think it is a long, pretentious and slightly aggressive title. Right? And really it should be even longer and called Blackbeard via Brunel to Banksy, the ultimate walking tour. Mr. Brunel is a very famous man here in Bristol. He was not from here originally. His father was French. He was born in Portsmouth, the town on the south coast of England. He was a very famous civil engineer. Civil engineers are the most polite of all of the engineers, and we find some of Mr. Brunel's wonderful achievements in Bristol today. One of them is the SS, or Steamship Great Britain, the ship that changed the world. Historically, this whole area is known as St. Augustine's. Look that way, and you'll see the land slowly breaking down. Behind that glass office block at the bottom is the original course of our main river. It's called the Avon. But the Avon is quite a funny river. The word Avon comes from an old Celtic or Welsh word, Afon. Anyone know what that means? I'll tell you. It means river. So, like chai tea and naan bread, the river flows right through Bristol. There are loads of them in this country. There's even one in Christchurch in New Zealand. But our river is the best river. And the reason for that is we actually have one of the largest ranges between high and low tide anywhere in the world. Number one is the Bay of Fundy over in Canada. The second one is a bay around the corner from the Bay of Fundy in Canada, which I don't think is fair, so I lump them as one. So the second largest range in the world is down there. It broke a record March 2 years ago. It was 14.5 metres between its highest and lowest point, and would have meant the area around this high ground historically would have gotten very wet. The Normans invade Britain, 1066, William the Conqueror, to battle the Hastings, and by 1088 the Normans found themselves just a stone's throw from where we are at the moment, on another bit of high ground in a small Saxon settlement. And some decades after the Normans arrived, the year 1140 now, a rich tax collector, of course he was, called Robert Fitzharding, came up where we are one afternoon to have a look around and thought this would be a wonderful place to build an abbey. And so he had St Augustine's instructed. The modern cathedral I mentioned just before is essentially built on top of the old abbey that runs through here. And where we are at the moment, beautiful examples of Romanesque or Norman architecture from around the year 1140. This was once one of the ways in or out of the old abbey complex of the area. Above us, there is a 15th century gatehouse that once controlled the way in or out of the abbey. And the gatehouse is part of an expansion carried out by an abbot of Bristol whose name was John Newland. John had a lovely nickname. He was known by his friends as Nailheart, and he has encoded his name into this structure. If you take just a few steps out into the Revel and trade goes, come up a few steps with me. You'll see apex of the arch there, just above it, a cool shield with a Valentine's Day heart, nails trimming into the top, and all that blood pouring out of it. So John Nailheart Newland forming right there. You can see it. On the side of the arches, you can hear and see the school. Arguably, that is Bristol's oldest school. It dates back to 1542, Bristol Cathedral Choir School. And back in the 1980s, a rather famous local artist, you've heard of, called Banksy, attended that school before he got thrown out of it around the age of 14 for bad behaviour. I like to think he was drawing on the desks in there, or something like that.
Well, there you go. So Banksy went to school in this area, got kicked out of school for bad behaviour. How cool. And we are going to go now and see some Banksy art. It's the Central Library. Oh my goodness. All the buildings around here are just so awesome. There you go, some early Banksy art. You don't need planning permission to build castles in the sky. And the guide was saying that the council came along sometime after and cut a big hole because they wanted a new way to get books in and out of the library. So they don't care about multi-million pound artwork. But here you go, Banksy. You don't need planning permission to build castles in the sky.
The painting you can see just here, folks, is from 2006. As I mentioned back in our first stop, earlier stop, while Banksy was in London, or he left here in the year 2000, went to London, got quite famous. 2006 is sold artwork on the canvas to Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. He's done different exhibitions in Los Angeles actually, and also in London. He's getting really well known. When Banksy came back to Bristol, phoned a local scaffolding company, asked them to build a tower in front of this building covered in sheeting. Over a weekend, Banksy climbed the ladders, sprayed on the artwork here using stencils. He came back down, phoned the scaffolders up, they took the tower down, revealing right opposite the main office of his arch nemesis, the Bristol Council, a brand new piece of artwork. Normally, panic, quit, get rid of it. But this time, the council tried something else. The survey, 97% of 500 people said, oh, keep it, it's great. And so there it is for you to enjoy. The title of the first officially recognised piece of vandalism as artwork is called The Well-Hung Lover, because there was a man hanging out of the window.
Oh my God. So this is not Banksy. But it is a political statement against the youth knife culture.
Here you'll see a regular sprayed on stencil nipple. The other one is a wall plug you'd use to secure a shelf onto a vertical surface. Predates the artwork, JPS lined it up so it works with the painting. Alright. I'll let you get some snaps here, folks. If you've got your cameras handy, you can point them up into the branches of the tree above us. And there you will find a very rare specimen, Disco Borus discialis, or the common disco ball tree. End of summer, when its fruits are fully ripened, we harvest the tree and use the fruit to decorate buildings across Bristol. Bring shillings, but the last year's crop on the side of it there.
There we go, Bristol's oldest pub. The Hatchet Inn. Look at that. Wow.
Very nice folks. If you choose a side of paper to stand on here for me, that would be most wonderful. You don't all have to stand on the same side, which just so you can get a nice view. Trying to quick look at the weather again. Maybe something slightly. Anyway, I love this stop on the tour friends. You don't have to remember anything. That's what I like. Oldest pub, established around the year 1500. It was licensed 100 years after that in 1606. It is called the Hatchet Inn. As well as being Bristol's oldest, it's certainly our most famous, mainly because it was an old haunt of one of our most famous residents. His name was Edward Teach. You might know him if you watch Netflix as Edward Thatch, but you'll likely know him under his more scary pirate nickname, Le Barbe Noire, Blackbeard, the Scourge of the Seas. Arguably the most infamous pirate of all time. Was born here in Bristol, an area called Redcliffe in that direction, in 1682. He grew up in Bristol, came to places like this to hear stories of sailing and adventures at sea, spurring him on to leave here for the first and only time at the age of 15 to fight as a privateer or a mercenary in the Spanish War of Succession, or Queen Anne's War. A little is known about Edward as a boy here in Bristol. We do have a good idea that he was able to read and write, which was quite a feat for the boy of the 1690s. He maybe could also read, write and speak Latin, which would have meant he had a very high standard of education. But when Edward was a boy, his father would die, his mother remarried, and we can say that Edward did not get on well with his stepfather. At the age of 15, he accidentally had a fight with this guy, might have accidentally killed him, and that's how he ended up on the ship, bound for the Caribbean to fight as this privateer or mercenary in the Spanish War of Succession or Queen Anne's War. And that was a long war, 12 years. At the end of it, Edward's gone from a scared lad probably leaving here for the first time into a 6'4" tall combat hardened war veteran. Although we probably added like 1 inch every 50 years or so. So dies probably a bit shorter than that. He was a 6'4" tall combat hardened war veteran. He is bored, he is stranded, unemployed in the Bahamas with all of his friends who were very good at sailing, fighting, getting their own way. Many of them take the black, turn pirate and start terrorising merchant ships. Blackbeard quickly got a name for himself, sailing under another successful pirate called Benjamin Hornigold. And then he got control of his first ship, which was a massive French slaving vessel, a Guineaman as they were known, called La Concorde. He renamed the ship to Queen Anne's Revenge, added 40 cannon to it, and would use that to terrorise merchant shipping. And the pub itself, it does have a bit of a scary reputation all its own. It is said the front door, just open to the left-hand side here, is covered in human skin. Le peau humain. Back in the 1600s, the human skin warded away evil spirits from your business premises. If you are feeling brave, do have a good look for cars coming that way. I'm invited to cross over the road now, give the door a touch. And sometimes it feels warmer than it should be. If you don't want to do that, we'll carry on down there. Next street on our left will be our next stop.
I don't know. Do you think it's covered in human skin.
It could have been back in the day.
Door.
It's probably not now because health and safety would have caught up with them, I would have thought. But
Probably.
supposedly human skin this door was covered in. You might have heard that. I don't agree. If you're ever in Bristol, guys, come and do a walking tour. It's so interesting and you'll learn absolutely loads. But yeah, Bristol's oldest public house.
With the red paint on the window. That is certainly the least flattering view of Bristol Hippodrome Theatre. Hippodrome is Bristol's largest theatre. It opened in 1912, designed by an architect called Frank Matthews. The Hippodrome has got the largest stage in the country outside the West End of London. It's one of the few theatres with a stage big enough to put on a full production of Lion King.
That's pretty cool. St. Augustine's courtyard.
Firstly, we have Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke is sort of like the founder of the modern day Conservative Party in our country. He is standing right in the centre of what I would consider to be the most left leaning city in the whole of the country. He wasn't 6 years old when he died. He was the Member of Parliament, MP of Bristol, from 1774 to 1780. Local artist called Inky went to Bristol Council and said, look, let me turn the most boring part of the city into an outdoor art gallery. The council said, yes please. They gave him £300,000. He invited artists from all over the world to paint the pictures I'm going to show you over the next few minutes. After he paid his £250,000 fine back to the council. And yes, we've got the Welcome to Bristol sign behind me here, folks. Another of these three artworks. The background of the painting is Bristol skyline, complete left to centre with the cathedral. I've tried to get to take a picture of it. The right-hand foreground reminds us of the building, the skyscrapers of New York in the earlier part of the 20th century. In 1973, we saw the first ever organised paint jam in New York, and with this, the birth really of what would become hip-hop culture. A decade later, in 1983, a movie called Wild Style was made about this now blooming scene in New York. In that year, Wild Style was screened in Bristol for a whole week during a school holiday in the local cinema. Many of the kids here went to go and see that. They fell in love and they tried to copy what they saw in New York on the streets of our town. And that is the seeds being sown really of what would become the Bristol scene, or Bristol street art scene. One of the youngsters to go and see Wild Style in Bristol was Inky, the guy who put the festival together. You can see his name on the right hand side of that girder. Number 3 signatures or graffiti tags, and the tags of the guys sat on the girder, and those guys are the Tats crew. You see the name above? Their original group of New York subway train car painters from the 70s and 80s, and again, just acting with more fusion between Bristol and New York. But up there, to the right-hand side, you see that guy with a bowler hat pouring the paint over the city. It's by a local artist called Nick Walker. It's Nick Walker's signature character. It's called Vandal. He can always be found around Bristol doing naughty stuff. It's by far Nick's largest artwork. If you start climbing out the city that way, you'll see it the whole way out of town. You could just written Nick Walker was here, with big letters at the top of the building. Nick Walker, his use of the stencil in Bristol predates Banksy's use of the stencil by at least 3 years. In 1996, Banksy made a comment. Banksy said, "There is nothing new or original you can do to the Mona Lisa painting. Anything you can think of has already been done." Nick took that as a bit of a challenge, and he came up with the beautiful stencil called the Mona Lisa, which is Mona Lisa, but she's lifting her skirt up and showing a boxer. About 4 years ago, that got turned into a bronze sculpture. It was on display in Bristol for a time. I believe it's now in the Louvre in Paris, nearby the original artwork. Absolutely brilliant. But left of there, you've got the big black, white, and yellow artwork. That is by a painter from Poland now, called M City. And like JPS, and like Banksy, who we met earlier, M City uses stencils to make his artwork. Not one per colour here, like the others I showed you, but 161 of them in its design. Believe it or not, Bristol's largest artwork is one of this guy's smallest ever paintings. They get bigger than the one you can see up there. He worked 24 hours around the clock without a break to get that one finished.
No evil.
Goes by the name LisaMH. LisaMH is a real global. LisaMH, real life. I don't see anything else like this. Built into the wall, our defensive structure. You can find the church. It's got the best church. It's called St. John on the Wall Church.
I thought it was just 2 times.
That's my favourite art. His name is Connor Harry. And I love Connor's painting for a number of different reasons. I mostly really like his stuff. He's not spray painting anything else as I showed you. He uses oils. Into the oil medium, he has loads of thinner. As he paints, the drip is there formed naturally. Conflict is common in his work. No different here. 2 people having a sword fight. The title, Duel of Bristol. If you like, you can read more conflict. Sometimes I feel quite jealous of my 2 friends up there. They're going to permanently get you at the artwork. Either side of that arch, left and right, you've got Brennus and Valenius there. They are legendary Saxon kings and considered to be the founders of the town we have just come into. And we'll start making that our largest industry. We visit our largest industry, printing, making that packaging for 33. Both the name of the building, you'll see the lady with the book in the wings, the heart shape is the effects. And that comes from a different species of tree, the one I showed you earlier. This photo goes last year. Covered in references to the Bristol Sound, which was a genres of music cropped up in the 80s, 1980s, along with the coolest. The number 1 is probably Bananarama. 2/3 of the band, the highest number of chart entries in this country are from. We say
These buildings.
What do you think so far?
Oh, awesome. Absolutely awesome. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
The very centre of Old Bristol. Look up there, this is the gold ball cross. All Saints Church, by and large, marking the very centre of the old town. And from that church back down to the gate of our two Saxon kings, you can draw a little circle around your mind's eye maybe to get an idea of how big Old Bristol was. Our day starts 11 minutes later. Two red hands give you the Greenwich, the London, the railway time. Here, the red hour hand, the black minute, and is the Old Bristol time. And that, folks, is why I was 5 minutes early. Not 6 minutes late. And you can use that as a good excuse for your tour what time here.
I went on the wrong side of the floor.
Yeah, we crossed over there and then we went to what we call St. Nicholas. We can stop back at the hotel.
Nice to come over, folks. You've got your nice view of the water here. You've also got a nice view. There's still a bridge, which is not the beautiful suspension bridge I was on about earlier, but of the 45 bridges of Bristol, Bristol Bridge here is the most important one we've got. The bridge you're looking at there, the bottom part of it, was designed in 1764 by an engineer called James Bridges, making it Bridges Bridge on the River. The bridge you see today is pretty much in the same spot as the first ever bridge. Brigstow for 1,000 years, Brigstow, Bristol. You get the modern name, not really changed in a millennia. Up north, 1859, Elizabeth Blackbeard was back in our country on a lecture tour talking about her life work. She became the first female doctor to be added to our register. Through her life,
this is a buzzing area. It's now late evening. Planetarium. It's pretty cool. So I love Bristol, but I do not love their traffic and the roads. So many road closures. It's a nightmare. There's some cool statues over there. I think we should go and check them out, don't you? So this is the energy tree. Look at that. We are in Millennium Square. Cary Grant. Wow. And then I don't know who these are actually, because there's no information for them. I'll see the back of this person. Let's see what he's reading. Death is but crossing the world as friends do the seas. They live in one another still. William Penn, Quaker, governor, essayist. Oh, I can't read that bottom word. But anyway, that's him, look. Pretty cool, eh? Pretty cool. Look at this. Buckingham Palace. Get it? Who's this then? So here's William Tyndall. William Tyndall. These are pretty awesome, you know. There's some kind of festival thing going on tonight. You have to buy tickets for it though, but it's like tribute artists, local bands and stuff like that. So we're not going in there. Coyote Ugly Saloon. It's the opposite the hotel. We were at the Premier Inn, King Street, Bristol. Good location. No on-site parking though. 10-minute walk to the parking garage, or the multi-storey car park as we in England call it. £28 for 24 hours. If you're lucky to get on-street parking, which is few and far between, it's cheaper. But it is what it is. And then the water is just there, and then just further along is where all the livelinesses happen with the bars and restaurants and stuff like that.